I do not really share the view that the ICC singles out Africa. The problem is that the worst atrocities happen where there are wars. And wars has the majority of conflicts in the world, with the exception of the Middle East. In the Middle East, and Afghanistan, Iraq, Israel, those are countries where the major powers are involved.
Syria?
Again, even
Russia.
Syria, Russia. So where major powers are involved, like in Palestine, in Iraq, in Syria, in Afghanistan, if you said that people who are responsible for conduct of war that is not in conformity with international law, you would have to hold countries like Russia and the United States accountable. And as I said at the beginning, these countries are above the law in terms of international criminal justice. So the reason that we have the ICC focusing on Africa is that the majority of the big conflicts are in Africa, and where these big conflicts are not in Africa, the big powers are involved and they are immune to this criminal justice system.
And in fact, the majority of the cases have actually been referred to The Hague by African governments.
That's true. And but what I should say, I think to one of the callers that we made, the Bemba judgment is, in my opinion, it's not really a lesson to African leaders. Because to date, African leaders are immune because they receive protection from major powers. The Bemba judgment is, if anything, just a lesson to rebels and people who have lost power.
Who have lost power.
Yes.
What about the Chilcot report, the Iraq inquiry report, which seems, frankly, to contain damning verdict on Tony Blair, the former British Prime Minister, for British involvement in Iraq?
If international criminal justice was a fair criminal justice system before which all governments and all politicians were capable of being held accountable, you could, in theory, see Blair being held accountable by an international court. But that's unlikely to happen.
But why should that be when, in fact, the British courts themselves can do the job? Because the ICC is complementary.
The British court, the UK is a member.
You have 20 seconds of the ICC.
Yes, the ICC. Remember what we said, that the ICC is complementary. It tries people who in domestic courts are unwilling or unable to act.
Right.
There's no way the UK is ever going to say that it's not able to try Blair.
The parents who lost some of their sons in the war say, in fact, they are going to sue Blair.
They might well do. That's something we can only wait and see the outcome of.
Well,